Hello and welcome to this new video about Eyeclectic's exhibition of beautiful pictures, and we are going to see today the third part of his area, his maps, in which he portrays this beautiful artwork. And hi Eyeclectic, how are you? Have you been well?
Yes, and I'm so happy that you're here with me again. I've always enjoyed your visits here. You have such a wonderful perspective of things. I feel like I don't have to explain things to you. You just understand when I tell the stories, and I just have missed you. So thank you for coming back.
Yes, I also miss you. Yes, I've been so busy. I almost had no
Hmm.
time to log in apart from working, but I'm so glad to be here again. So I love these pictures. Is that a big mushroom? One second. Let's get near, right?
Yeah, actually, you can sit on that mushroom if you want.
Oh, you can sit on the mushroom. Let's
Uh-huh.
try it.
Yeah, because see that smile face cut into that leaf behind us by that ladybug?
Yes, I see it. It is nice. What a nice picture. So you were telling me about the picture of the Empire State Building, right?
Yeah, it's in this frame. I was just hoping it would kind of pop back up as we were talking, but I can kind of click through and see what we see here because we never looked at this frame before. We kind of skipped by it, and there's a lot going on in here. So, have you ever heard the song Iron Butterfly or the song Inagata Devita by Iron Butterfly?
No, no, I haven't. I will look for it.
Anyway, yeah, that last picture, that's what I call it, Iron Butterfly. But anyway,
Yeah,
it's a song
beautiful.
about.
I saw the bottom. Yeah, I saw the butterfly. Yeah.
So this picture I call the least of these, and it was actually planted by a man who I met in the park who was homeless at the time when I met him. And when I was planting flowers one day, he came along and he says, "What are you doing?" He goes, "You're getting dirty. Let me do that." So when those flowers pop up in the spring, I know who planted them, and I always like to say it's interesting what the so-called least of these will do for the most of us when given opportunity to serve and a hand on the shoulder, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, so that picture is very meaningful to me. Jerome was here.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and also it's very telling because like the solitary flower and yet blooming fiercely, beautifully. So I think it's a fantastic picture. These
And there's more
mushrooms here.
mushrooms there. See the ant on the mushroom?
Yeah, beautiful. Well, you know what? This is what I said before. Look beautiful. The picture completely uh, complements the digital creation of this giant mushroom in which we are sitting. So it's beautiful. It is a really
And
beautiful exhibit,
and here
indeed.
we are. Here's the picture we were you were asking about. So this picture was actually taken on New Year's Day in 2000 with a little disposable camera, and it was displayed in my exhibit at the Empire State Building. It's called Nature and the Empire, and the camera was actually on display in the window with asking if people could guess which picture was taken with that camera. Because that was the idea. Is I really wanted to say that anybody can do this, and it doesn't have to be the fanciest camera or whatever. That even a picture taken with a disposable camera could be displayed in the lobby of the world's most famous building for all the world to see. So uh,
Fabulous.
yeah, and I'm recreating it now. I'm trying to recreate that now. I put the Empire State Building up on the other island over there. You'll see as we walk around,
Wow,
and I'm
yeah.
gonna kind of turn it into like I want to call it Nature's Empire, and kind of like it's overgrown with nature, and just have exhibits based on environment and things, and just have a real collaborative space. So I'd love to invite your input into that. So this picture behind us now is called Nature's Poetry, and it just looked like that's just how I found it. I was walking my dog, and it looked like the nature had just written something on that notebook, and
Beautiful. Yes, very appropriate because the pictures are fantastic, but you also capture the essence in the titles fantastically.
well, thank you. I know sometimes they say, you know. that a title doesn't matter or what's in a name or whatever, but I think there is a lot to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that rainbow was just taken in my garden one day.
beautiful.
Let's see what else we got in here before we move on, real quick. Oh yeah, we're back to the stone monkey.
Yeah, the
Isn't
monkey
that amazing?
face. It is.
Yeah.
It really looks like a monkey's face.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
nose, the mouth, everything, the eyes, beautiful.
Yeah, before I took that picture, I was up there with some friends like a year before that, and we actually climbed right up the face of it and didn't notice it at the time. We were jumping off the other side of the cliff, and then I was walking with a friend the day this picture was taken, and I told her, I said, "Come on over here." I said, "I want to see this cliff we were jumping off of." And as I walked up to it from that angle, my mouth just dropped. I was like, "Oh my gosh, look at that!" And I went back and looked at
Fabulous.
I saw, us climbing right up the face of it, but we didn't notice the first time we were there. So there's other rocks that look like different things, like dinosaurs and things in that same park, which I may include in the Empire State Building.
Fabulous. It looks like a great, great project. Also, the Empire of Nature. This is fantastic.
So see this flower right here? This is, I think you may have heard me tell you about this flower inside the gallery, because this flower is seen in 5 different pictures here within the exhibit, so you can kind of like play a game and see if you can find them all. It's the same
Yes.
flower, different
Oh,
pictures.
wow. Like an Easter egg. Wow, fantastic.
So yeah, let's go back to where we left off in the rain.
Yes, in the purple rain.
Purple
That
rain,
beautiful. Yes.
purple rain.
A classic. This song.
Well, I don't know if you know of my connection to purple rainbows. It's actually just raining normal right now. Would you like me to make it rain purple?
I need. Yes, please. I need
Okay.
this option as well. Sometimes I'd like to rain in my areas as well. Does it take many prisms?
I love rain. I love rain in Second Life. There's rain on Whimsy. Whimsy is one of my favorite places in Second Life. I'll have to show you sometime. Um, and the rain there is just that's where I first encountered rain in Second Life, and it's like you can almost feel it. I
Oh
love it.
yes, indeed, it's a very beautiful effect. If it doesn't take many prisms, I will get one for my areas as well because I have very, like castles and very medieval looking areas that will benefit from a beautiful rain like this one.
Yeah, let me see. I'll check and see what the prims are if I can.
Now I can see the purple rain. Such a beautiful homage to a great man who did a lot of
So,
good for the black community, and it is an icon of the 80s.
well, and I don't know. You probably don't know of my connection to it, the Purple Rain, but um, Prince actually had he went by a symbol for 7 years to free himself from the limits of his record contract at the time.
Yeah.
And then when he took his name back, he had a week-long celebration to commemorate. And on Purple Rain Night, they had themed each night after one of his albums. And on Purple Rain Night, it rained. And then a
Wow.
perfect rainbow came out and appeared over Paisley Park. And I photographed it in a way where it looked like it ended right on top of the pyramid at Paisley Park. And I framed it and sent it to Prince, and he had it hanging in his accounting office. So I have this really, really kind of uncanny connection to the Purple Rain through
Beautiful.
the rainbow connection that Prince and I have.
That's nice. Beautiful.
So as I say that, look right behind you, and there's a perfect rainbow on the wall of the gallery
Yeah. You
that appeared
know,
over.
I love pop culture and music and cinema, and sometimes I feel very connected to songs or to movies. For example, as I am a teacher, I feel very connected to Harry Potter because it is basically about the school, Hogwarts, and
Yeah.
it is cool because I feel identified with some of the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
This is a birthday present, I see.
It was because this exhibit opened on 11/11, and the owner of Viridian Gallery, Jules McWhinney, who started Viridian Gallery, her birthday was 11/12, the day after
Oh,
that.
beautiful.
So when I first started putting things up here and here, she said, do something, with that big side wall, and so that's what I did.
Beautiful, a beautiful present because she is very aesthetic. She looks like a sculpture here, and it goes very, very well
Yeah.
with the butterfly and the flowers. The butterfly is beautiful. Well, my birthday is
Yeah.
on the 19th of September, if you want to remember.
Oh, okay. I will try to remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, let's move on, and I'll just show you a few more things. And remember that flower I told you about? Tell me if you see it anywhere along our journey.
Yes, I will be looking.
Okay.
That's a nice way as well to train you to pay attention.
Uh-huh. Right. Yeah. I want to gamify things more. The learning that people can gain while they're playing through a game sort of scenario within this environment, I think can be really good. Like, I have some of that, but I want to do it more.
Okay.
So do you see the power
Yes.
lines? And I put up there because do you see the band lines on the other side of the power lines?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was flying a dragonfly, and I ran into those band lines, and it was like a bug zapper, and so I wanted to protect visitors in case that happened, and so that's why I put this picture up there with the power lines, kind of like saying there's band lines here.
That's a nice idea. Beautiful.
And then see this picture.
Stop.
Band lines.
Don't touch the lines. Yeah. I always wondered how the birds can perch on these lines and not be hurt. So yes, I can relate.
And then the egg drop. You ever see the sun look like an egg?
It does.
Isn't that
Yes,
interesting?
it looks like an egg. Yes, beautiful. They are very, very, very beautiful pictures. And I liked a lot this contrast of the bright sun in the middle of this very dark, almost romantic, from the romanticism, cloud, and the sun pouring through all this darkness, right? That is
maybe like a scene from Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of God, and hope and beautiful things.
Oh, that's nice. I like that perception. That's great. So, would you like me to tell you the really deep and crazy, amazing story behind this picture we're looking at?
Yes.
If you kind of back out, see the whole frame. Do you see like a kind of a phoenix rising off the shell?
I absolutely do.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? So, oh boy, I don't know how to tell this whole story because it's deep. But that picture was taken in South Dakota. When I went to photograph a friend's wedding who married a Lakota warrior, and Crazy Horse was Lakota, and it was taken as we were saying goodbye, and they were heading back to Pine Ridge Reservation, and we were heading back to Rapid City, where Crazy Horse was born. And we stopped at the highway just to say our goodbyes. And while we were there, look, that picture is called
This
Slingshot.
is amazing. I follow a lot of Native American accounts on my Instagram, and I'm amazed at the dances, and that their traditional outfits, they are really, really beautiful, right? So I really like
Uh-huh.
ethnic culture and North American, and they have a very good sense of humor. They laugh at. Well, they make jokes. They don't laugh at, but they make jokes about the perception that people have of the Latin American culture, and these kind of things. And it is a culture that I really like. If I ever go to North America, I would like to go to a powwow.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so let me tell you the rest now. So here's the amazing thing about the picture I was trying to just got by this again. I got to bring it back up one more
Yes, it
time.
keeps changing.
So the amazing thing is we're saying goodbye to them at the highway, and the storm starts blowing in, and I'm just very aware like that of this cloud coming over that shell sign. And so I take that picture, and to me, I see a phoenix rising off that shell. You say you see
Yes,
it
I
too, right?
absolutely do. It is very clear, and it's also
So Crazy Horse was Lakota, and he actually said that he would come back in the storm,
wow.
and his jewelry, the only jewelry he wore was one feather and one shell.
Um, I can see the feather. Yes, it is very clear.
Oh, but it's a shell.
Yes,
It's-
yes, indeed.
so anyway, that's just those kinds of things happen to me. It seems like there's always a connection. There's always a story. There's always something that is deeper beyond the surface of the visible,
Yes, connecting the
picture.
natural with the supernatural or the spiritual. This is fantastic. I love this picture.
Yeah, and time and space, like they link time and
Yes,
space. You know what I mean? Like,
and
yeah.
legends and
So,
reality. I love this picture of the sun behind these trees.
uh huh. Yeah, and do you see what's beside you?
1 second. No, the one here of the sun behind these trees, because it looks like a flame. It looks like a fire.
Yeah, I call that picture Fireball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how in a lot of these pictures were taken in a park that I call Perception Park. I actually have a sign that used to mark a trail there, that said Perception Trail. So it's interesting that it really, to me, it really lives up to that name, Perception, and that you can capture those kinds of things there. When the sun hits the trees over the lake, you can capture those kinds of fireball like
Wow,
shots like
beautiful.
that.
And this beautiful moon, so powerful, right?
Yeah. Let's walk up there and look at it, but I want you to see right behind you. What's beside you
Yes,
right here before
this
you to
beautiful
your left?
yellow flower. I will.
Ah, there it is. See, I just didn't want you to miss that. That's that flower. That's
Oh,
one
the
of
Easter eggs. I found it.
them.
It is beautiful, the yellow flower. Wow,
So
what a
yeah, come
beautiful
on up here.
owl. And you can also ride it.
You can, but here, let's take a selfie in front of the moon here, and then we'll ride the
Oh,
owl if you want.
absolutely.
Oh, wait, it changed. Okay, but here, look at this one. Do you see a dolphin in that cloud?
Let me see. Yes, absolutely. I do. I do. Yes, it is very
I
clear.
love. I just good. I love that I can ask a question like that, and it's not something that I just see, that everyone does. And it was really remarkable that night. I was supposed to be at a meeting that I went to, and there was nobody there. And then I checked my text and saw that they had canceled the meeting. So I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And I went to Perception Park, and here I captured a dolphin.
Wow, imagine that. How beautiful. Yeah. You do have a lot of connection with this kind of events, because I am absolutely certain that I wouldn't just perceive that. You said that perception. Maybe I should look. Oh, I should look closer.
So this next
I should
picture,
look closer.
yeah, now look at this one. This picture was taken just a few minutes after the dolphin. Do you see a dragon?
Let me see.
See the dragon spitting fire at the
Yes, I do. This is amazing. Yes, absolutely, I do. And it is very clear again. It is amazing.
top.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know a lot of people that collect dragons, and they really, that picture's, yeah, they see it for sure.
Wow, amazing. Yes. Your exhibit encourages me to be with nature a lot more because I'm a lot of time working and I see very little nature lately, and it is very beautiful.
Yeah.
This dragon with the sun here at the bottom, like powering him, empowering the dragon.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what you miss when you're not looking, because those things only hold their shape for a few moments, really, when you do see them. And so, yeah, it's always constantly rewriting itself. It's an incredible adventure. I like to say that the sky is a place to travel without leaving the ground.
Yeah, it's like the fear of missing out, but instead on our mobile phones and social networks, in nature. Yes, I experience this FOMO, the fear of missing out, because I don't look at nature closely enough.
Everything that you just said to me is a perfect segue to talk about this picture that we're standing in front of here, because you see the two owls?
Yes. Well,
yeah,
right now I'm seeing clouds in the picture. Well, of course I see the owl here, the digital owl, the rideable owl. But I'm seeing pictures.
To your right. Look to your right.
Let's see. Oh, yes, of course. The owls, of course.
Yeah, and that's a very rare moment. People told me that the Indians would look at that as a sign of good fortune, so that's what I called the picture. But then I subtitled it "Shared Wisdom" because I think that two owls is kind of a symbol of shared wisdom.
That's beautiful.
And that's what we're doing here.
And they're looking directly at the camera. Whenever I try to take a pic of my pets, they never look at the camera. It's like me, like, come on, look here. And they don't. And they are both looking at you at the camera. And this is I would also consider it a good sign.
Yeah. It was definitely a pretty remarkable moment. So as we say that, let's ride the owls for a moment.
Yes, yeah. These beautiful owls.
Yeah, you can jump on, and then I'll jump on one after you.
Let me please take first a look so that the people watching the video can see how beautiful this owl is.
Okay. Yeah, it's really realistic looking. He's got an incredible face.
Yeah, it's very funny as well. So I will start riding.
Okay. We'll take a flight around the island and come back here.
Good. Yes, I will follow you. Beautiful view of the sunset here.
It'll take me a minute to catch up. I gotta wait for it to res one for me.
Yes, don't worry. In the meantime, I'll just catch the beautiful sight.
There we go.
This is an amazing place.
Well, thank you.
It is an amazing place. A place of peace.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so I'm very happy that you are perceiving it as such.
Well, perhaps, but the aesthetic factor is also important.
Where are you?
I'm behind you, following you.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm trying to catch up. I can see a nice view of this rainbow on the giant peach that also has a ray of light on it. This is fantastic. My students are going to love watching this.
I could call you, and that way if we get far away from each other, our audio still stays.
Don't worry, I will edit the video and there's going to be no problem whatsoever with the audio.
Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
That is the program that I use to record, which is
I don't see you though. Where are you?
I was behind you, but I lost you.
Oh,
uh,
I see you now. Okay, I'm catching up with you.
okay, good. I'll wait then. But don't worry, I'm taking beautiful views of all the pictures.
Here we are.
And the program that I use, Screencast-O-Matic, records computer-generated sound and also my voice. And I can manage the volume of my voice and the volume of the computer-generated sound, which is in this case your voice. So,
Okay, good.
so don't worry at all about the audio quality because it's going to be good. It is good that we have this wide range of digital options to
Okay.
record and produce material.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back and land over here, and I'll share some more of the story with you.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you land, when you get off your owl, watch his face will probably still stay visible for a while.
Oh, okay. I will see it. 1 second. It is a little bit difficult for me to manage. Not used to flying owls. First time I ride an owl. But the wings movement is fantastic, with all
Yeah.
the feathers. So I'll press a stand.
And one of the things I love about these owls is that they're not like land impact. They're temporary. So when you jump off, they just disappear.
Yeah, and
It,
they don't stay on the air. Yes,
and
I
it'll res as
understand.
many as you need. Like if we got 10 people here and we all want to fly owls, we can all do it.
Yeah, yes, that's good. That's
Yeah.
convenient.
So in this area, see, look at that beautiful tree right there in that picture behind you. Look how it like resembles the Sakura cherry tree with the light shining through it. Isn't that interesting?
It is. It is a great metaphor.
I
It.
call that picture "Rays That Shine" after a song by Cheryl Ann Hawk, who actually is my partner in helping to bring the story of the love train into Second Life and then build a bridge to back into the real world where she actually played on the love train. She actually played the song Love Train with Eddie Lavert of the OJs, who sing the song Love Train, for his first time ever singing it on a train. So she has a song called Rays That Shine, and that picture illustrates it very well. I'll send you a link to it.
Yes, please. I see hope in that picture. Well, now I see a bird, but
Yeah.
the I see so much hope because there is a lot of hype right now about a movie that is called Don't Look Up. I don't know if you have already watched it. And for me, it is a very toxic movie because it portrays people as very stupid and very hopeless, right? And I utterly reject this kind of message. I have hope in my students, in the students of my students, right? Because they are going to teach in primary and preschool. And I have hope in having a purpose here in this earth. So I really didn't like that movie. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't, and I probably won't now since you.
No, it's interesting to form your own opinion on what you are watching. They say several things that yes, correspond with reality, but the message and the positive outlook is very pessimistic in the end, because yes, it's like a tragedy comedy or whatever, ha 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 he he, and we are putting some information in your face, but it's not funny. I didn't find it funny because many people are taking this kind of material seriously, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that's why we need to write a new story. I think we need a story that really excites people about positive change and about what we're capable of together, that we can stop complaining and stop being stupid
Yeah,
and share the wisdom that we have, because we live in a very different place, being able to share digitally the way we are, that you're in Spain and I'm in the United States, but we can get together. There's no real reason for ignorance anymore. So
absolutely.
what I have this vision of a train that physically and metaphorically is motivating a movement of like rapid transformation, I like to say,
Good, yes.
yeah, and just a movement of proactivity where we're not complaining about things anymore, and we're not worried about those people that we put in these seats to represent us doing everything for us, but we're just riding over top of that confusion, making a difference in the world. I had a dream years ago that showed me groups of people that were excited about changing the world, and it's
Wow.
driven me to work toward that reality. So the song "The Love Train," if you've ever heard it, is by the OJs, and they're from Canton, Ohio, where I'm from. So we literally started the Love Train. If you see that picture, look at this, the blue OJ sitting
Yes.
on the railroad tracks, right where we started. We started the Love Train on those tracks. So it's amazing that I would capture a blue jay sitting on the railroad tracks,
It's
like he's
fantastic.
and those are the lyrics. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. Don't need no ticket, just thank the Lord and get on board. People all around the world, join hands, start a love train. And I really believed in those lyrics. So, I sat down with the president of the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, and he said, well, we like to help out. He goes, I'd be willing to donate a coach to get you started. And so we were literally able to say, don't need no ticket, just get on board. And we had
Yes.
couple of years of events that way where it was just this networking, educational and entertaining experience for everybody aboard. When we got off the train, all of us, everybody that was participated, was at a much higher vibration than when they got on,
Oh, yeah.
and we had this really shared bonding experience. I still run into people that were part of those first couple of rides, and when I see them, they still carry that energy. It's a spark in all of us. So in this area, you'll see that everything kind of tells that story. It's not just me saying it. You see the blue jay sitting on the railroad tracks, and here, this is actually our tip train. When Cheryl Ann would play, she used to play concerts in here every Wednesday during the pandemic, to just raise awareness of the story, and like the song says, people all around the world, and raise some funds for us to potentially build a virtual love train, eventually here in Second Life, and just to expand the story on both sides of the screen.
Yeah.
So that she would use that train as her tip jar basically when she would play concerts. So if you turn around and you look at the back wall of the gallery here.
Yes, 1 second. I will physically as well turn. I wanted to say that your gallery is not, as I have seen in other places in Second Life, like a gathering of pictures in a nice place or whatever. Everything is perfectly placed with a purpose and with a message, and I love it. And I love the metaphor of the train because it leads you somewhere and also encourages a sense of community. The power of community, the power of a gathering people for a higher purpose. If we gather for a higher purpose, we also have the help of God. Like
Oh, you're saying it so well. Thank you.
that.
Oh. You are a godsend.
Well, it's because this movie has really irritated me because they portray communities as very stupid, like sheep following and whatever, this kind of things. And I do believe in the power of community, of the diversity, of global communication, things that were impossible in the past, and right now we have thanks to technology. And I do believe in values and in humanity, and I think that your gallery is beautiful to watch after watching such a horrible movie. For real,
Well,
it's
thank you. It's interesting that you're saying that because honestly, what my real vision is to take this story and make it into a movie that really inspires people to want to get up off their chairs and be a part of positive change.
yeah,
So, and then, have like an open end to it where it, I kind of picture it being a movie that grows into a reality show unfolding with everybody's story.
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful concept. And I think you achieve it very well through your gallery because it's beautiful storytelling, not only, as I said before, a gathering of pictures here and there and a nice environment. It is a narrative and everything is connected and everything is placed perfectly. And this is something very nice to experience. I hope that my students really, perhaps in the summer when they don't have their workloads on, will come here and experience it as well.
Well, thank you, but I hope that they'll actually experience the concept in reality as well. That
Yeah.
that we will really realize this, and that there will be literal trains, and there will be, like I say, it's not just a matter of physical train. I think in a way the physical train is an invitation, but
Yeah.
once people are on board, you're always on board wherever you are. If you think of it kind of like the vascular system of the body, with the trains kind of being a big artery, and you invite cells in, and then once they're changed, then they carry that healing energy throughout the rest of the body. Does that make sense? You don't necessarily have to be on the train to be on the train.
Yes, I completely understand. It is a metaphor and it is a highly spiritual concept. Yes, of course, we are not talking. It's a symbol. The train is a powerful symbol, but we are talking about our daily lives actually, wherever we are. And what I like also about your gallery is that some people have told me that Second Life is like for people who don't like their real life. And I said this couldn't be farther from the truth because you are actually portraying a message of the magic that lies in daily life, in your pictures with the caterpillars and all the insects and all the tiny creatures of God and all the sunset, the sun, the clouds. So it's an invitation to look at your real life. Actually, it's not an invitation to.
Absolutely. You got it. You just say it so well. You just like make me speechless.
Well, yes, it actually is a pleasure, yes, to witness such a work of art, and also it is very you can approach it very naturally, right? It's not like very some eccentric or whatever abstract art, whatever, right? It's very approachable by all human people, and I
It is
like it.
very much, yeah, it is very much reality, and I think that Second Life is definitely the best. It was the right platform for me to display this kind of work because I think I told you about the girl who looked at my work and said, are these photos or paintings? And I said, well, they're photos, but I love that you asked that because I think of them as paintings of light and circumstance. And then she said, but where do you take these? This isn't reality. And I said, oh, but it is. And that's what I hope more people will become aware of. But not everyone is aware. And even when you show them things, even when it's very clear, sometimes I think it's so clear that it freaks them out, and they kind of don't want to acknowledge it.
They
Like
were,
that
yeah.
perfect. over there on the side of the building, you know. But if you look at the messages here and you look at what everything is saying, so my challenge, I always like to say, is my greatest challenge is crossing the bridge of words between vision and reality, you know. Um,
Yes,
and so if you see this,
I
what it says
understand.
there, when your greatest challenge is crossing the bridge of words between dream and reality, trust that a caterpillar knows the way to transformation.
Transformation, yes, that's right. Well, I
See that
understand.
caterpillar connecting the words there, and so if you look in the next frame and you just read the visible words of that caterpillar crawling across those notes, the
Yeah,
message is really clear. It says, use the song that gives the train love. Isn't that
wonderful.
interesting?
Yeah,
And then you've got the butterfly on the railroad tracks. And
beautiful,
like
yeah.
Buckminster Fuller says, there's nothing in a caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly.
Yeah,
It
not
is
even the
actually something
DNA.
called, yeah,
Not even the DNA. They
right,
changed
but
the.
it's actually something called imaginal cells that cause the transformation of a caterpillar to a butterfly. So I kind of feel that's where we are right now. We need to consciously use our own imaginal cells
Yeah,
to transform reality.
yes, and we have the power to do that. But the
Mm-hmm.
power lies in the spirit, in my opinion, and I understand perfectly that some people may feel intimidated by all this reality.
Yeah, right. Because it's so
Powerful.
magical. It is, yeah. So everything is giving the message. So if you look even in the flowers that we're standing in, these are bleeding hearts. And I
Yeah.
one day, when I was working in the Infinite Peace Garden, that you'll see in some of the other pictures we're going to look at, uh, which anyway, I just realized how interesting it is that bleeding hearts grow in trains. If you think about it,
That's also very interesting. Well,
isn't it?
you
Hearts coming
can
together.
you can take your heart whenever your heart breaks. Of course, it's painful, and when your heart bleeds, it's painful, but it's also a symbol of opening to other realities that take us away from our comfort zones, in my opinion. That's why we have the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Sacred Heart of Mary in Catholic faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
That because you
So follow me over
actually,
here.
yes,
I just want to ask you what you see in that picture we're looking at right back there. Because there's a movie, The Little Engine That Could, if you've ever seen it. And if you've seen the movie poster for it with the little engine and the other characters, he's like bringing, the trains live in the dream world and they're bringing the dreams into the real world. And the tunnel collapses and they have to find another way. So I feel like that's where we really are in reality. Like we started the love train for real to bring the
yeah,
dreams into the real world. And then we now have an abandoned train station because of some circumstances. So we've come into Second Life
yeah.
to grow the story and build a bridge back into reality, very much like the little engine that could. So if you look at that picture, do you see the little engine above the trees and the clouds?
I see a lake with ducks and the bridge, yes, and the clouds above, yes.
And so in the clouds, do you see the little engine that could? Maybe?
Yeah, little, yes, yes, I can see it. It's
If I showed
beautiful.
you the movie poster, yeah, I know you'd see it because everybody. When I give presentations, I show them the movie poster first, and then I show them this, and they're like, "Wow."
It's very funny as well, a very funny face. That's cool.
It looks like the fishing pier almost resembles tracks in a way.
Yes.
So so it is very much like the little engine it could, in that we've come into the dream world to bring the dreams back into the real world. So now, if you look at this picture, you see there's a dragonfly on the railroad tracks.
Yep.
So how many? It's amazing how many creatures that I've actually, had to kind of inform this story. Like how do you capture a blue jay on the railroad tracks, a dragonfly, a butterfly. And so this book, if you've never read this book, I highly suggest this book for you and your students. Reality is Broken: Why Games Make Us Better and How They Can Change the World, because I feel like that's where we really are. Like we have an abandoned train station, and we have a lot of things in reality that are broken.
Yeah.
So how can we utilize these virtual worlds to affect the real world, like you're saying, you know?
Yes. I will definitely look for this book. Very interesting. And also, I'm doing research on gamification, so it's going to be useful as well for my master's project. But yes, I
Mm-hmm.
agree that it is a very impressive serendipity to see all these tiny animals, all these tiny insects going to the trails while you are looking, so that they are giving you the message. And also, it's cool to see the contrast between the picture and also this nice digital dragonfly as well on the
Yeah, you can
tracks.
fly that dragonfly if you want. You see that picture of me pulling the dream there?
Yeah.
Let's go find those old tracks.
Yes. Yes, I can see it.
And that's in a place called the Faraway. When I found it, I was just blown away. It's just a really amazing place. I don't know what inspired it or who built it, but it just was so meaningful to me.
Yeah, yeah, it is nice. And I see here the notice of the OJs.
Yeah, that's the street sign where Nimisila Park is on OJ's Parkway. Nimisila Park was the oldest park in Canton, and it's actually interesting. As Nimisila is derived from Native American, it means meeting tree, and a heart having four chambers. Nimisila Park is actually intersected by four Canton City wards. So I have to wonder if there's anywhere else on the planet that could claim that, right? So what is the heart but the meeting tree of the body? And I feel like that's how we need to look at that space and make
Yeah,
it like a model of what we want the world to be. And the heart circulates to the body, and the body circulates back through the heart. That's how it works. So
yeah,
we live
exactly.
the metaphor. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is a very nice metaphor. And again, nature reflecting us, and we reflecting nature as well.
Mm-hmm. So you see, this picture here looks like a heart, and Ohio, the state where I'm from,
Yeah.
which I feel like there's a reason that Ohio looks like a heart. In
Hmm.
fact, the entire world, all the increased circulation that we have through our cars, trains, planes, and trucks, are all rolling on an innovation called the tapered roller bearing, which came from the Timken Company in Canton, Ohio,
Wow.
including the Mars rover, even the Mars rover. So it's all rolling because of the heart. Isn't that interesting?
It
All that.
is. Yes,
Yeah.
and also it is a very symbolic picture because you can see this little tiny plant born from this dry heart or this dry
Yeah.
earth, and
The
all the
sprout of hope.
lines. Yes, all the lines
Yeah.
ending at the heart, like a community, like a sense of community. It's beautiful.
And that sprout is coming right up from where I am in Canton, Ohio, interestingly enough. And there was
Yes.
no editing done to that picture, it's just how I found it. There I am actually at the Love Train mural.
Yes, I can see you here.
actually, actually says on the train, it says you don't have to move to live in a better neighborhood.
This is also nice, and I also appreciate it. You don't only just sit on the computer and create these and take pictures. You also do actively things with the people in your community, like this project. And this is also a great way to do your spiritual work for the people, and that's nice.
Thank you. This picture here is actually in Nimisila Park, was neglected for a lot of years, um, one of the first things we did was to plant a garden in what used to be a fountain bowl in the early days of the park, and so we call it the meeting tree pie garden, PI,
Beautiful.
and those are actually dancers from Living Fountain Dance Company, which I found to be, such a perfect link in christening that tree when we planted it that day, because in what used to be a fountain.
Beautiful. Yes, it resembles a fountain, this tiny little tree sprouting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It
Beautiful.
kind of Yeah, it kind of emulates the fountain. Yeah. And actually, there's a scripture, Solomon 4:15. It says, "A fountain of gardens, a well of living waters." And I'd found that scripture after we planted that garden in what used to be a fountain. So that's pretty interesting, too.
Yes, it is. It is fantastic. You know, the pictures are also so powerful. They give such positive vibes of sense of community. Look at these two
That's
lovely
Cheryl Ann Hawk.
ladies.
Oh yeah, it got by us too quick. But that was Cheryl Ann Hawk that I was just telling you about. And Amy Starkey, who's also pictured on the side of the building as a butterfly, on the Love Train float. And then here we are painting the Love Train mural and this still has not been finished.
Uh-huh.
The year after they started it, it was really hot and no one wanted to be out there, and it just kind of got fell by the wayside in a way. But I want to make it a big community event to get people together to finish it and paint that whole wall, because it's not just about putting paint on the wall, it's about the connections that happen while we're doing it. There's,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It looks
So
amazing. Wow, it looks made by professional painters. It's great.
there's the meeting tree.
It looks beautiful. What a sharp contrast.
And
And
there's the actual Love Train. Oh, that picture got by us too quick. But this is the train station that's now abandoned. We put some paint on it, though, a couple months ago. Some new paint, and that's what those pictures are.
beautiful. It is a very nice symbol and also a very nice message for the people visiting
There I am.
that station now.
I like what you were saying about, it may be abandoned, but the spirit or is still alive in it. I think
Yep,
you were saying that. Yeah, because it really is about the story, I feel. Um, really believing in the story and taking that forward into reality, that we have the ability to write reality more consciously. You know what I mean? And so
absolutely.
what better metaphor to carry us all than a train?
Yes, indeed. And you know,
Let me
trains always remind me of peace and peaceful journeys. Planes are great, of course. It is fantastic to be able to travel through air, you know, flying, that humans can fly. This is also fantastic. But trains are quieter. They give you more space for reflection, reading, and also for sharing with other passengers. And it is also nice, at least in my view, right?
Absolutely. Oh, I absolutely agree. Yes. In fact, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Have you ever heard of them?
Not yet.
No. Okay. Well, there's a big circus tour that lasted for 149 years, I think, something like that. And they're coming back though in 2023 without the animals. See, they were carrying animals, and I was thinking, that's a huge logistical weight you shouldn't even have to worry about. And if you don't carry the animals, then what else can you put on the train? Like Habitat for Humanity and artists to engage communities in collaborative murals, and gardeners to help with urban gardening, and solar experts and recycling experts, and on and on and on, so that it's not just about entertainment, it's about actually engaging communities in what I call rapid transformation, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
So that we actually have if you could imagine actually having a train that's traveling from community to community, making a difference.
Yes,
And so
that's a very powerful message.
so that's what we're working toward.
Yeah, cool. That will be nice to see the evolution, and I would like to believe that I am also part of the train in the distance.
You are, because you're helping to expand the story, and that's one of the most important things right now, because I have a lot of challenges locally of even getting, people in Canton to understand the value of this somewhat untold but infinitely valuable story. So if you look at this tree here, do you see how that branch mirrors the arch of that tree?
Absolutely. Not
Isn't that
only
interesting?
it's fantastic, and not only perfectly but also it mirrors as well the other parts of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, and I mean, that picture was actually taken on 3/14/2003. So remember, 314 represents pi, and the reflection, of so it's significant in a way, I feel, because Exodus 3:14 is where God says, "I am that I am," and so
Wow.
this picture I call man's best friend because, of course, the dog is man's best friend, but the weeping cherry was given to us by the Japanese as a symbol of friendship, and then, of course, Jesus saves being man's best friend. Isn't that interesting? So,
Absolutely.
so I discovered something really incredible after a friend of mine who's Pastor Steve at Faith United Methodist Church. He used some of my photography in his Easter sermon one year, and after church, I went down to the tree to photograph it because they usually bloom around Easter too.
Wow.
And
Yes.
then I walked over to the church and I realized that the address of the church is 313 Elgin. So that means the address of the tree is 314 Elgin. Isn't that
Wow.
interesting?
It is fantastic, and and the rest of the branches of the tree go up, but this particular branch, it seems perfectly arched there, and also the picture of the doggo is also great, like very happy
Mm-hmm.
doggo. Well, I'm very fond of dogs. I have two dogs, and they are truly our best friends because they give so much unconditional love and affection, and I do believe in the power of friendship, and dogs accept you. Of course there are exceptions, but generally they accept you immediately. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
meet you, I already like you, I already want to know you, and these are values that we could uh, teach as well, to be more open to diversity, to be more affectionate, and it's a very powerful animal, you
I
know.
think when you say there are exceptions, that the exceptions are in our hearts, not the dogs. That the dogs
Yes,
just actually sense where we are, and so when we see through eyes of love, if you see I'm wearing heart shaped glasses, I was going to tell you too. Maybe if you want to, when we're talking, sometimes get that angle of us from the front so they can see us talking. But I'm wearing heart shaped glasses, which I actually wear in real life all the time, and I tell people when they say, "Oh, I love your glasses," and I say, we have to see through eyes of love. That's the only way we see reality. So
yes.
when we're in that place, I've often maybe gone to somebody's house and they say, "Oh, be careful of the dog," but I've never had a problem with them because I think that I'm seeing through eyes of love. The dogs perceive that, and then there's not an exception. Do you know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean. And dogs actually reflect as well the hearts of the owner. So if
Mm-hmm.
there is an aggressive dog, it's probably an abused dog or a badly trained dog or whatever, just for survival. Dogs also can mirror how we are as humans, right? An abused person can also react inappropriately, and you need to keep in mind that this person has been abused, right, or has been badly taught, not trained, but taught, right? So they have very human qualities, right? And yes, I never had any problem with any cat or any dog, and I'm very lucky because I'm married to a man that is also extremely obsessed with animals, with dogs, with cats, and this is cool because he also sees them as part of the family. Because not everybody sees animals in such a symbolic way. They see them as animals and whatever. But I do really appreciate it when my dog is near me and or consoling me or just sleeping beside me. peacefully, and it's a very beautiful feeling.
I kind of see animals as messengers and really the eyes of God.
Yes, I also
They see
agree.
everything we do and they report back. So, have you ever seen a video called God and Dog? It's a little animation video on YouTube. You got to see it. I'll send you a link to it. It's really fantastic.
Oh yes, please send it to me. And I completely agree that if we don't treat animals well, they tell God when we die,
Yeah.
and God says, "What did you do to that cat?" I met once one person. Well, I don't want to go very deeply into it, but she hated cats and animals in general. This person tried to poison me, right?
Hmm.
I have a food allergy, and once she gave me food laced with the allergens. I don't know why. She simply had a bad heart. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, how you treat animals also reflects powerfully how you are going to treat other humans. So it's
I'm so happy that you said that because there's a great quote, and I think I have it displayed within the gallery by Saint Francis of Assisi, and he said, "If you have men who will exclude any of God's creatures from the shelter of compassion and pity, you will have men who deal likewise with their fellow men."
oh
And I think
yeah.
that's a really important quote, and that it's so true, and that's where we need to start, even like with our kids. If we can teach them to love everything, then they're not going to kill anything. And I always like to say, if you're going to shoot somebody, do it with a camera.
Oh, this is fantastic, and I also love Saint Francis of Assisi, and
Yeah, I identify. Yeah, yeah.
yes, and it is a very powerful message in his teachings. And also, there is another saint that always has, in Spain at least, a little pig, because he also protected animals. That is Saint Anthony Abad. We say in Mallorcan Abad that he was a friar, right? He was an anchorite, and he also is portrayed always with the animal beside. So even we in religions, organized religions, we know that animals are also creatures of God, and indeed all creation is sacred. So to say, all creation is sacred and should be respected.
When we see it that way, I'll give you. We could go on and on about this, but the caterpillar on the notes that we just were looking at.
Yeah.
That was a meeting I was having with someone, and those notes were their notes. But the caterpillars appeared on my shoulder first, and she didn't see the caterpillar the way I saw it. She said, "Ooh, there's a ooh on your shoulder," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I got it on my finger, and I had a hard time getting it off of me. Once I had it on my hand, it wanted to stay on my hand, and I got it to get onto the table and crawl across her notes, and then it gave me that message. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. And you know something, because you mentioned that, after seeing your gallery, I am also transforming. I'm also starting to see animals in a different manner. I remember that I told you that I couldn't stand cockroaches, these kind of bugs. And right
Yeah.
now, your gallery has made me reflect about the fact that indeed, even insects are not nuisance. We humans tend to want to control everything, even our living spaces, and everything should be spotless, and everything should be bleach clean and whatever, like antiseptic, you know what I mean. And no, there is life all around us. We just need to watch and respect it. And even a cockroach deserves to live, right? Perhaps you are not going to let it reproduce in your home, but you can just take it and put it out instead of just kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. And this
Yeah.
this gallery is transforming my out view as well about this, and it's glad. It feels nice.
That is wonderful to hear, because I think when we do come to that place, yes, it does feel nice, because Jesus says the truth will make you free, right?
Yes,
And it's like you don't have anything to fight or to fear anymore. It's like everything is just beautiful.
it is indeed. It really is. right?
So let's go in the church. Let's watch out. Let's not get licked by the dog, unless you like being licked by a dog. If you walk right into this church, you'll find yourself in another dimension.
Let's go into the church.
Oh!
Beautiful.
And so here we have another building and an exhibit that I was telling you about. My friend Pastor Steve, and they actually had this exhibit called Images of Jesus in their church, and asked if they could reproduce it in Second Life. So we did.
Absolutely. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Oopsie. 1 second.
Come on in.
I'm checking every minute whether everything is recording correctly. So far, everything works fine.
Okay, good. So this exhibit also benefited Heartful Migrant Ministries. So the pieces like that the artist donated for auction, then the money went to Heartville Migrant Ministry, which they have a wonderful book if you're interested. It's really well illustrated and shows a lot of their history over the years.
Yes, I would like to take a look at the book. Yes. Maybe you can find a link so that I can watch it.
Okay, sure.
Good.
And so these are just different representations of people's views of what Jesus means to them. And there's a lot of different, really wonderful, I think, representations of, like, this one is, if you zoom in and look at the descriptions, the one I'm looking at over here is the changed Jesus, the homeless Christ.
1 second, I'm looking at this Christ and the Lamb. Beautiful. I love this one. This Christ. I love this one.
Yeah.
Because it is very approachable, very human, and very related to the pain, but also to hope. And to hope or recovery. Some people in the world suffer so much in different countries, at war, and children and refugees.
Yeah, this one is Refugeesus.
And I want, because of course these are problems that individual people can do very little about, but I want to believe that these people eventually will reach peace as well. What an atomic Christ.
Yeah, this one here is Science and Wonders Jesus. I like that.
It's fantastic.
It's not just science, it is about the wonders, right? Which are just miracles. We don't have to necessarily explain them by science because miracles don't necessarily follow rules.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember one teacher that I had once, and he said that if you are a mathematician, you are a poet, because in one flower you can find 1 second, I have got a message. In one flower you can find a specific formula, mathematic formula, or even in the shape of a snail, of the shell of the snail, you can calculate that through formulae. And he said, if you are a mathematician, you are a scientist, you are also a poet, because you have no other option. You are too amazed at what you are seeing and what you are discovering.
That's interesting, because I live life in a constant state of amazement.
Yes, that's the best attitude to have. And I love this Jesus as well, that is a young child.
Okay. Yeah. He looks a bit like my nephew, in fact.
Actually, nice.
And probably maybe more like Jesus looked, maybe a little darker complected,
Yes, absolutely. Yes, but it's like Jesus in a t-shirt in nowadays times, still with the same spirit. That's amazing, a very powerful message.
Well, we always have to remember that really, I think his real message is that, to the disciples who were looking at him as above them in a way, that the things he were doing they weren't capable of, but what he told them is that you're capable of greater things when you realize, and that what if you're putting me on a pedestal, basically that guy laying over there, treat him just as you would me. So Christ is in all.
Yes, that's the message for me, at least as regards Jesus' teachings, is that Christ is also inside us. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That it's not in images carved on stone. Of course, there are beautiful metaphors of what we are feeling. Art is always a reflection of who we are, but it's inside of us. It's a powerful
Yeah.
message.
Picture beside us is the actual church where this exhibit was, and I just took that picture as I was leaving, and I thought it was so perfect with the sun coming over, so I used it in here.
It is perfect.
My work is here on the second floor, and if you look at these descriptions, they're all pretty amazing. This one I call Love God, based
Yes.
on 27, which says, Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart. So if you see the sun representing God is shaped like a heart with an arrow through it, see that?
Absolutely, yes, I absolutely see that, and also the flower looks as if
Mm-hmm.
it's looking up or aiming to get these sun rays, and it's perfect. It's a perfect picture.
Well, it's
Fantastic.
interesting you say perfect, because then there's the lens flare, which could be perceived as a mistake, but like a friend of mine looked at it and said, "Look at that! It's a flaw that's perfect."
Yes, there are no
and
mistakes.
and so the lens flare is literally a derivative of the sun, right? So you could say that represents the Son of God cultivating the sunflower. God's children see that one petal turning up toward the sun.
Yes.
Mhm. Then at the left, you see some power lines, and that to me represents our system of separation from our free connection with God.
That's a great metaphor. Yes, I can see that. Yes. And yet
And
hope
then,
rises.
yes, and it's love that you say that too, because then you look beside it here, and we have what I call the ladder. And this
Ah.
amazing sunflower tower grew in the Infinite Peace Garden in Nemisilla Park, which was planted originally by kids from Northern Ireland to represent infinite peace. And you see, most sunflowers have a bloom at the top that faces the sun. Well, this sunflower was 11 foot tall, and you see it has blooms all the way from the bottom to the top, facing in every direction.
It is beautiful. I really love this picture.
So now we are spreading seeds from that ladder,
Wow.
sunflower tower, around the world, and inviting others to plant and photograph them as they grow and share them online, hashtag Infinite Peace Garden, and we can start weaving this idea of growing infinite peace around the world.
Fantastic. Yes.
So I'll send you some seeds if you like.
Yes, please. Well, I will plant them, and it's going to be beautiful in my in-laws' garden, because mm, my real family is, well, my dad died. I take care of my mom, who's 80, and I have no more family. So
No.
my in-laws, well, I don't want to get too personal, but yes, I don't have more family, and my in-laws are my real family. And there is
Yeah.
they always say that your in-laws, it's difficult to get along with the in-laws, and my in-laws are like my parents, my second parents, and they have a field of flowers, and I
Mm-hmm.
will I will give them to my mother-in-law, and she's going to take care of them.
Great. And then what you do is you save your seeds when they give seeds, and then you save them, and then you just keep spreading them through your friends and family, and we just keep weaving this, because one seed from that sunflower tower has the potential of becoming a plant like that with over 10,000 seeds in one season.
That's
So,
good.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm taking care of my grandmother here. She's 97, and my godfather just turned 100. And
Wow!
yeah.
Amazing. I hope my mom also lasts to that age. She's 80 right now. She's doing very well. She's very well cared for. She lives with us. And I am certain that my dad is in heaven. He was a very good man. He had a very kind heart, and he was very spirit oriented. He was a very um, firm believer in the message of Christ, and it's always beautiful when somebody that you love so much dies, that you know that he is safe because you know that he believed, right? So you have at least this consolation. He's going to be well. He's going to be fine. He's fine where he is.
Mm-hmm. So this picture here is Jerome, and he was homeless when I met him in Nemasilla Park, and I helped him through some challenges that he was had, and we just became friends. He, in fact, would call me more than anybody else I knew, not to ask for anything, but often just to thank me for my friendship and ask how I was. So the day this picture was taken, I was walking. My car wasn't running. I was walking downtown, and he called me, and he said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm over at the library. Why don't you come over and talk to me? I want to read the paper here." And I said, "Well, I'm right by this diner. I've never eaten here. Why don't you come over here? I'll buy you lunch. I'm sure they got a copy of the paper." So he came in, sit down, and I always like to say how we have genius laying on our streets. So that picture is amazing to me because I love the way his hair has that kind of Einstein look.
Yes.
And he's got his hand to his chin, very much like a picture of Einstein that I saw one time. And if you look at that coincidental headline that day, "Hey, you fishermen," you could almost read that right into the scripture. "Come unto me, and I will make you to be fishers of men," right?
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what that photo represents. And he's the one that planted, remember I told you about the red tulips that...
And you know this, I love also how his hands look. It's like hands that have worked very hard, you know, and so it's the combination of intellect. He really looks very intellectually here, but also he's used to working with his hands and producing things with his hands. And this is also a very nice message.
That's it. Yeah, that's a good perspective. Thank you. He eventually sent me a picture of himself from North Carolina, doing better. So, and there was a message even in the T-shirt that he happened to be wearing, but that's another story.
Wow, amazing! I'm glad that he is doing better. And you know, it's beautiful to appreciate the wisdom of this kind of people as well.
Yeah, and so see the ant on my pinky. We've talked about this before because this picture's on the front of the gallery, the other gallery building, and it was actually taken on 11/11, which was the anniversary of the day this exhibit, actually not this exhibit, but the Butterfly Effect opened on 11/11. But I have a pretty remarkable relationship, I would say, with ants, where we used to have a lot of ants in our house, and I refused to kill them. I would just throw them out the window or whatever and continue to pray about it. And as crazy as it sounds, it kept getting worse for a time. Until one day I said, "God, can you talk to the ants or something? Because, I don't want to kill them, but this is really getting outrageous, and, so we can come to some sort of cohabitation here." And shortly after I remember saying that, one day I realized there were no more ants in our house. And they don't come in anymore. It's been probably 10 years since then. I see them crawl up the wall outside, but they don't come in. So that's one thing I forget. And dealing with insects and what we call pests, we're always trying to kill them, and that's not going to work. We're not going to win that way. But we forget to consult God about things like that, don't we?
Yes, I agree. I agree that we forget, there is a little bit of a separation between what we do, what we ask God, what we pray at church, whatever. And no, God is going to be in our very simple daily events as well. Why not, right? An ant is also important, right? So the life of ants is important as well.
Ants, we can learn a lot from ants, and I think that's a reason why there is a scripture, Proverbs 6:6, that says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise."
Beautiful.
So, and then Rapture Bridge, which we just happened to cross on our way here. Well,
yes,
it's beside it, the church there. And this picture is another man who is homeless and is really bad alcoholic. And the day that I took this picture, I ran into him, and he was really bad. He was like, I got him into this little restaurant and got him some food, and he was just fading, and I called the ambulance, and he scrawled on a napkin, "I love you, brother," and pushed it across the table at me. And they came in and took him to the hospital, and they let me go back and sit with him in the emergency room. And I showed him this perceptions picture. I'll show you. Click this picture right here. I showed him that picture,
Yeah.
and what he said he saw in that picture was Jesus rising. And I think that's
Beautiful.
pretty incredible because in all the pictures that I take, the file number of that particular picture of him is 7777.
Yeah. Wow, amazing. Yes, it is another very powerful picture of these people that I really, we used to have a homeless in our previous home, around, right, sleeping, and he was a very wise man. You started to talk with him,
Mm.
and he told about discipline, and he told about uh, being, he was in the military before, and he had a very interesting life. And sometimes we overlook this kind of people, and I see how it's a beautiful message that Jesus also speaks through them and has granted
Mm-hmm.
them vision.
Yeah. Have you ever heard a song called Mr. Wendell by Arrested Development?
Nope.
Well, that's what it's about. It's about getting wisdom from someone who, he said, I never talked to uh, a bum until I had the chance to get to know one, and then he realized he wasn't really giving him charity. He'd buy him some shoes, and this man would give him some wisdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, beautiful. I would like to listen to that song. No, I just know about culture songs. So
Yeah.
it is nice that you are going to enlighten me about all these beautiful
Yeah.
groups that I am missing, and all these beautiful songs that I'm missing and not
Yeah.
missing them anymore.
Yeah, music really informs my life. It's lyrics are very much a part of me in a lot of ways, like scripture in a way. Positive messages. This is the children's artwork up here on the third floor.
Beautiful. Well, these are, I really liked that one of these flowers here, but look at this cute Jesus is my friend. So
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. It is great to see children have such an innocent and open spirit to this kind of topics, and such a vision, interesting vision.
Mm-hmm. The
Beautiful.
view is nice here. I like this building and these open windows.
Yes, I like these parts of the floor that are made of glass. They give it
Mm-hmm.
dynamism, and yes, there is a very nice view of the outside.
Yeah, I'm using this building on nonprofit commons for our office over there too.
You have to tell me more also about the Empire State Building that you have here.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Well, come on out. We'll stop over there for a moment.
Where are you? Ah, here. Okay.
I'm going down the steps.
Following? Not following anymore. Ah, yeah, the stairs, the stairs. I can find the second flight of stairs, or flight of stairs. Sometimes I don't have enough vocabulary to express what I want to express.
Okay, I actually have band lines around it right now because I'm building it and didn't want everybody just going in there until I've got more done. So
Okay.
let me go over and I'll either take the band lines or teleport you over here real quick.
Okay, good. What a beautiful peak of so many beautiful people together, of all ages, skin colors, and the train. So beautiful.